Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Glow Live. I didn't know if I was going to be here or not today. Oh my goodness, I'll tell you all about it. I had to go to the emergency room yesterday. Excuse me, early in the evening or well, late afternoon I had to go. But I'll tell you all about it. Let me just say hello to everyone who's here and then I'll share what happened? Oh my goodness, as you can see, I have a thing from I had to get a shot for pain as I was leaving. But anyhow, I'll tell you all about it after I say hello to everyone. Hey, Tina Laplace, you're first in the house. Hello, good to see you. Hey, Martin One, hello. Liddell, one of my members, a great member in the house. Liddell says, I won't be staying in the chat, and this will be my only so as to not disrupt your live. Just wanted to check on you. I also had to go to the ER Thursday and was admitted. Oh my good. Pray for me as I am praying for you. Well, right now, before we do anything else, just Lord, would you just touch Liddell's body? And whenever is going wrong, we ask that you give the doctors wisdom and knowledge to deal with it and have a rapid recovery, a full recovery. Oh my goodness. And just look after Liddell. Just please look after and keep Liddell safe and under your arms of protection. We pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh my goodness. So, well, mine doesn't sound as serious as yours because I was not admitted overnight, but I will certainly be holding you up in prayers, Liddell. And I hope everyone else will also. Hey, Barry, how's it going? Good evening, all. I hope everything is under control. I'm a little concerned with the title. Yes, all is well. I'm on the road to recovery, and I'll tell you what happened all about it. Hello, Vaughn's on a roll. Another one of my great moderators from Marta and Barry and Vaughn's on a roll. Hey, Patty. Hello from the Ozarks. Another great moderator. Nora's in the house. Yes, everything is okay, and it was resolved. Thank goodness. Had I not gone to the emergency room, it could have been a whole lot worse, but I'll tell you all about it. Hey, Blue Star from Pennsylvania. Hello, hello, hello. Graham, oh my goodness. Graham said I had to see the doctor the other day. I said I have a hereditary, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Graham. Who else is in the house? Miss Net, another great moderator's here saying hello and greeting everyone. Hey, Ma Garden Oasis. I hope everyone's having a great weekend too. Oh, we spent the 2 nights at the beach camping. I was going to take you along, but I will send out a communication with a couple of pictures of the beautiful, beautiful sunset because we were camping. Well, let me tell you all about that when I finish saying hello to everyone. But hey, Sheila, I'm going to call you Sheila because I have a suggestion for you on the situation we were talking about. Hey, my brother Donald's in the house. Hey, he's working hard. He is really working hard getting his gait back and everything back going. He is just, hey, he's a superhero in that physical therapy. Hey, who else is in the house? 3 generations. Hey, Iris. Hey, Muskegee Land. Mimi's in the house. Hi, Mimi. OJ for Hire is in the house. Lisa R. I'm so glad. I'm glad you made it. And thank you for praying for Liddell. Thank you. Yes, Iris. Absolutely. He answers prayers. Hey, Sailor Girl. I was never in Panama. That's a whole nother story, but no, I'm not in Panama. I'm in Southern California. But a lot of people are moving, and it seems that things in that region have died down. So I'm going to be looking at planning a trip over there, an exploratory trip. But I don't ever plan. A lot of people thought I was moving and going to stay full time. No, I plan to spend. My plan was and still would like to be to spend maybe a few months of the year there and back and forth. But that's the plan. Thank you, Ma Gardner Oasis. Thank you for the prayers. I'll take all the prayers I can get. Everyone is saying hello to everyone. And yeah, Graham, good day. Everyone is still greeting everyone. Hey, Sylvie, how's it going? And Hey, Crafty Doodle, how's it going? Um, well, first of all, the camping. We went camping for 2 days. It was beautiful. It was overcast in the morning and drizzling, kind of rainy, and then by the afternoon, the second day, early in the day, it cleared up and was beautiful. The first couple days, kind of later in the day, turned really warm around noon or 1 and beautiful, then overcast at night. We did s'mores, a bonfire. We camped in San Diego County. There's a state beach, South Carlsbad, Cardiff, and Silver Strand in Coronado. And we got into the South Carlsbad beach. It was just beautiful. We're up on a cliff, and they have a walkway going down, and then they have at another end, they have steps going down. We were near the walkway, and they have showers, although it's supposed to be hot showers. I took a shower, and mine was ice cold and never got warm the whole time I was in there. But anyhow, hey, John's Deb, welcome in. But beautiful, beautiful. And I'll send you a couple of pictures of the sunset. I just didn't really feel up to going around taking other pictures, and you'll hear why excuse me, as I explain why I went to the emergency room. But it was a beautiful, beautiful experience, and we're looking to try and do maybe but 2 days, camping, getting all their tents set up, getting everything, getting the food, all that for 2 days, you really have to do maybe at least 5 days to make it worth your while for all the trouble you have to go to set up your tents and get everything going and set up it's a lot of work for 2 days, but it let us know how beautiful it was and that we definitely want to go back. It's very, very, very hard to get into those campsites. People book them 8 months. They open up 8 months in advance, and within 8 months, they're booked solid. So anyhow, hey Jackie, how is it going? Um, who else is in the house? Anyone else? I think I've said hello to everyone. But let me tell you what happened. All right. I am prone to getting cyst on my back. I don't know. I've had 3 now in the last maybe 15 years. So it's not something that I get every year, but maybe over the last 20 some years, I've had 3. And I noticed when I was showering that I had, a little lump on my back. So I didn't think too much of it. I thought, okay, another cyst. I went to the doctor for my physical, and she said, yeah, you have a cyst on your back. We can watch it or, see. So I thought, well, we'll just watch and see what happens. Well, it wasn't causing me any pain. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was kind of staying the same size. But all of a sudden, last week, about Saturday or about Sunday, I noticed it was felt larger, and it felt like it had lumps in it. And then Monday, which was the day before we were supposed to go camping, it started hurting, and the pain got progressively worse. But by Tuesday, it was like, okay, well, we got this camp thing set up. I'm going to go through with this camping, and I'll figure it out on Thursday, or after we get through camping and check out. Well, by Thursday, I was really in some serious pain. I mean, it was it started out, "Hey, feminine poet, hello, hello." And Susie Aspen, welcome in, Susie. It started hurting, um, if you touch it or if something brushed against it, and it was right under where my bra closes. And then by Thursday, I tried to I don't know, I had too many things to do. I had several things I had to do Thursday, so I just did them. I thought, okay, Friday. Well, by Friday, it was really, well, actually, by Thursday, it was hurting even if I wasn't touching it. It was just hurting if I'm standing up. It was really, really painful. So Friday, I called to see if I could get in with a dermatologist, and it's a new dermatologist for me. So she said no. Well, she didn't say anything then. I left a message. No one got back. They said, well, we'll call you back within 24 hours. Well, that's Friday. So 24 hours, that means they weren't going to call me back till Monday. And I was like, this isn't a lot of pain. And I thought I was concerned that it was going to be I was concerned that it was infected. It was so painful, and it was right over my spine, and I thought, "You know what? I really don't want an infection to migrate into my spine. That could really be a problem." So, when I didn't hear back from them by noon, I drove over to the, um, dermatologist office, and they also do surgery there. So they're like, "No, we can't get you in. There's no way." I said, "Can you someone just look at it?" And I said, "It's really painful and I'm afraid it's infected." And she said, "You need to either go to urgent care or you need to go to the emergency room." And she said, "I would suggest you do that and not wait because they couldn't get me." First, they said they couldn't get me in for 2 weeks. And I said, "Well, in 2 weeks, who knows? I could be deceased." So then they found something, some earlier, but it still isn't until next week. And I thought, I don't think this is a good idea because if you have an infection and it's over your spine, it can spread to that. And my concern at that point was that even a from a wound or anything else, an infection can turn into sepsis. And if that happens, it can be life threatening. So I thought, you know what? I thought about going to urgent care, but then I realized, what if they have to do really some kind of surgical procedure, or what if, they have to do all these things? I'd rather be in a hospital where if it's really turns out to be something serious, that they have the equipment to deal with it. So I went to the hospital. And as I was going to the hospital, I was thinking about I have a couple of friends, and one in particular who um, has medical problems but doesn't want to go to the emergency room. They try and wait it out because their insurance really pays hardly anything unless they're admitted. And I was thinking, wow, I have, Medicare, but I also have a good supplemental, but it's pretty expensive. And this particular friend can't afford that expense, like many people cannot. And as I was driving to the emergency room, I thought, wow, there are people who are in this situation are not maybe not assist, but something, and they will wait and not go to the emergency room because the bill would be overwhelming to them and it could cost them their life. I was thinking about that driving in, you know, but I went, and when I got there, of course, the emergency room, you're going to be there for hours. So I was there 2.5 hours before, well, they checked me in and that was it. Then I'm waiting on a gurney in the hallway. So because everything was full. So then finally, I think someone in there was a dog lover because I called the nurse over. I said, do you have any idea how much longer it's going to be? And he's like, no, I said, do they have doctors that are here or are they going between upstairs and down here? He goes, no, we have ones that are specifically designated for their I didn't know the doctors are contracted. They're not employees of the hospital. They're contracted because when I was signing the thing for, billing and stuff, they're contracted so they send you their separate bills. I didn't know the emergency room doctors are not employees of the hospital. Did you guys know that? But anyhow, I said, I've got a puppy at home in a crate. And he's like, well, how old? I said, 4 months old. And is it locked in a crate? And, he's been there a few hours. And, I don't want to be here all night with a dog in the crate and the poor puppy. And, here's my little violin, and hear me. I'm waiting 2 hours. No one's doing anything, nothing. And as soon as I said that, within 10 minutes, all of a sudden people are coming over. They're getting blood work. They're doing this. They're doing that. Everything changed. Everything changed. And it wasn't maybe, well, then they had to wait for the blood work. But as soon as the blood work came in, boom, the doctor's over there. So someone over there was a dog lover and didn't want my dog to be home for another 5 hours because I could have seen that easily. Because in the emergency room, they take people based on what appears to be the seriousness of the presenting problem. Well, if you have someone who comes in after me that's having chest pains, they're going to see them before they see someone with a cyst on their back. especially when the doctor hasn't even seen it. So, who knows who's coming in with broken bones, heart palpitation, whatever. So I'm probably with a cyst, I'm at the very bottom of the list. So I think, thank goodness for Mowgli, he brought me up to the top of the list. But the doctor came over and looked at it, and I told, and this is an interesting question, and I was wondering if any of you might have the idea, because I told him I'd had two more of these, and he asked me, he said, "Well, do you have a history of diabetes or a couple other things?" He asked. Diabetes and two other things. So I'm wondering, does having diabetes make you at higher risk for having cysts and these types of things? Because that's one of the things he wanted to know based on me, this being my third one. But anyhow, I told him, I said, it's really painful. It has, so he looked at it, and I said, and I was afraid it's getting infected. And I asked him, I said, do you think it's infected? He said, yeah, I think it's probably infected. So he said, let's get you over into a room. So he put me in a room, and he wanted to do what do you call it? An ultrasound to see just how deep it went. And based on the ultrasound, he initially said, it's not that deep. I'll just, do a little poke, and we'll see if I can't get whatever fluids in there out, and, get you on some antibiotics, and, you're going to see your dermatologist, and we'll just get you. And that's what the dermatologist had said. They're probably going to medicate you and send you back over here. Well, once he poked it, and he did a tiny, tiny little poke, and as whatever it was started coming out, he said, "Oh no, no, this is a big problem." And then he said, I'm going to have to do an incision and surgically remove this and take out tissue." I was like, "Oh, great." So he said, this is going to be much more extensive than I thought. So because I initially asked him, I said, is there enough? Will you biopsy? He goes, "Oh no, it's not going to be enough. We're just going to," but after he started, he said, "I'm going to have to give you an anesthesia, a couple of shots." That was the worst part of it all. The shot went right into the area that was hurting so bad. So I don't know if you have like a wound or something, and then you have a shot right into it. Whoo, that hurt. I mean, really hurt. But he said, "I'm going to do it slowly and try and be gentle." I mean, what I liked about everything he did, he told me as he was doing. He said, "What's going to happen?" He would say, "Are you okay?" He was a wonderful doctor. Young guy, just a wonderful doctor. But as he was in there, he's telling me, he said, "Okay, I've got the shots." He did get it numbed up well. And then he said, "I'm going to do the incision, and it's going to have to be because I told him I keloid, which means I get, even from a simple scratch, I will get a large scar." He said, "Well, I'm trying to be mindful and not make it a larger incision than I have to." He said, "But based on what I'm seeing, I really need to open this up and get in here." And he's taken everything out. He says, "It's not fluid, it's solid. It's solid masses in here." And that's the lumps I was feeling. So he's in there, removing it and cutting. He said, "I'm having to cut tissue and cut walls and all this stuff." So he's telling me, and then as he's taking it out, he's showing me, and I'm like, oh. But so it took quite a while. It took quite a while for him to get it all removed. And then I asked him, I said, "Are you going to stitch it, or are you going to pack it?" And he said, "I want to pack it so that it can heal. I don't want to stitch it over it and have, it whatever." So he wants the packing to stay there for a couple of days, then remove it. I was supposed to go to a hot springs tomorrow. So I was asking him, I said, "Well, how long, many days before I can go to a hot springs or a spa?" He goes, "No, you're not going to be able to do that for at least a couple of weeks, at least." So that's canceled. I was going to take you guys along on that, but that is canceled. But anyhow, it appears that, and he gave me some medication, which I have to go pick up. So I've got to leave at 4 to get to Costco because they didn't have it ready this morning. But I'm going to give you, I don't know whether you guys know this or not. I want to tell you a little bit about sepsis that I didn't know, because he said he was concerned that he doesn't want sepsis to set in or that it's MRSA or anything. And I was like, what? I was like, what? So he's giving me some medication that will fight off any potential sepsis. So here is the definition of sepsis that I didn't realize. Um, Sepsis is primarily triggered by a bacterial infection, but it can be caused by fungal or parasitic infections. And it can start from pneumonia in your lungs. I didn't know you could get sepsis from septic, and it can go into septic shock, and that's what takes your life. But it can start from pneumonia. You can get sepsis from a urinary tract, a bladder, or kidney infection. You can get it from your skin, from cellulitis, or an open wound, which when he did it became an open wound, or from a digestive tract like your abdomen or your appendix. So I didn't know that all of these things you can get sepsis from. Sepsis from. And if it's not, it says here, if it's not treated rapidly, it can quickly progress to septic shock, a severe drop in blood pressure that can cause major organs such as your lungs, kidney, and liver to fail. And it can escalate to you being in a matter of hours. Hours. It is treated with the same urgency as a heart attack or stroke. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it could develop so rapidly, and I didn't know that it could come from any of those things, including just a wound. So, and apparently, if you're at have diabetes, you're at a higher risk for getting cysts, which can then turn into wounds that can then become septic. The things you learn, but then I always ask loads of questions. But anyhow, so he gave me some kind of Bactrin and something else that I've got to get, but he said that fights off sepsis. So hey, oh my goodness. So um yeah, so there you go. So let me go ahead and say hello. Oh, everyone's saying hi to Don, asking him how he's doing. He is doing. I'll see if he answered and let you hear his answer. Um, Mimi says, please be careful with the new woolite. I ended up getting a very bad skin infection from it. 16,000 units were recalled. It now has wheat in it. So, what was it in the woolite that caused a skin infection, Mimi? But yeah, it said from a cellulite, or a wound, you can get sepsis. Uh, Donald says, barely, but I'm getting there, Graham. Okay, okay. Hi, Maria. Hello. Yeah, I'm actually feeling better, Maria. And when I when he was getting it all out, I asked him, I said, so are you gonna give me something for pain? Because when this shot that you gave me wears off, I'm gonna feel this from all of your incision. He said, "Oh, and I told him, I said, when I had broke both of my ankles, the doctor gave me first they tried Percodan, that didn't do anything. They tried something else, I don't know, then Tramadol, then Vicodin. None of it did. Just the pain, it didn't even touch the pain. And the Tramadol gave me such bad night tremors or night terrors. I'd rather have the pain than that. And I was at the pharmacy getting another prescription, and I told the pharmacist, I said, none of this stuff is working. I'm still in excruciating pain. And he said, the pain's not going to go away until you get the inflammation down. He said, just soak your ankles and I think I told you guys this before, in Epsom salt and take a leave. So I told the doctor that. I said, before, when they gave me all this stuff, none of it. I said, so he goes, you know what? I'm going to give you Toladol, I think is what it's called. And it is an anti-inflammatory, since that seems to work better with you. We'll give you a shot before you leave here. And he gave me that shot. I felt nothing all night and even into today. But then I went and I thought, well, if I have to, I'll get another one of these shots. Well, I looked it up and it has all these terrible side effects. And it said under no circumstances, none, to take it more than 5 days. So I was like, if there's all this warning from it, I'm not going to take another one. I'll just bear it. I'm not going to risk it. But I'm not feeling any pain at all. I'm feeling zero pain. So once they got all that infection and everything out, but I'm wondering what is cellulite that you can get sepsis from cellulite. I know it's some kind of skin infection. Let me see. What what is cellulite? Uh It said it's a common harmless skin condition where fat deposits push through the connective tissue beneath the skin, creating a dimpled, lumpy, or orange peel texture. Hmm. But it doesn't say it's increasingly common, but hmm, but it's saying here that it's very common but according to what I read on the AI, it can develop into sepsis. So I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to try and give medical information, but just be careful if you have any of these things or pneumonia or open wounds that it can't, especially if you're prone to diabetes or have diabetes, that it can get septic. So anyhow, so I am better today. Um, Don says, just learning to walk again, Graham. I'm so proud of Donald. He is working so hard with physical therapy and a therapist. And he's just a champion, a champ. Hey, Caroline Herrera. I'm sorry, Caroline Herrera. Caroline Hannah. Hi, Caroline Hannah. Yeah, it is scary, Miss Net, some of these things. But woolite, who would have thought? Hey, slow carb girl. Shingles? No, I don't know if shingles you can get sepsis from that. Fortunately, I didn't have that. Thank goodness. Uh Hey, CW, hello, hello. Yeah, I had a cyst that under what I found out, what the doctor says is that when you have something going on in your body, and it looked like it might have started from a blackhead, but when you have something going on in your body, he said, forms a protective barrier around it to try and keep it from spreading. But since I think here's just my feeling, since I'm prone to keloids, which is the skin overgrowing and overreacting to even the slightest little even scratch, I think my skin, anything that happens on my skin, because I have that keloid tendency, my skin tends to overreact and then the cysts start forming. And he said, yeah, that makes sense when I said that to him. Donald says, getting better, CW style. Thanks for asking. Yes, Donald is. Oh my goodness. Graham says, I've been getting BCCs cut out of late. What is BCCs? I have 3 more to go yet on Tuesday. It will be good to have them all gone as they're starting to be a worry. What is BCCs, Graham? I don't know what that's abbreviation for. Uh Thank you, CW Style. Yes, Miss Elan. Something was telling me go to the emergency room. Don't wait till your doctor's appointment. Don't wait. Go now. So I've learned, when I get some warning, and I think it's the Holy Spirit, but when I get something that's telling me do something, don't go down that street. Don't drive on that. Don't go down that alley. I listen now. I don't know where it's coming from, but I heed those warnings now. I have learned that when I don't, it's not good. Sylvie says, you're right, Carol. The last thing you want is sepsis. Oh, yeah. It's nothing to mess with. Tell your friend in our system, the person who owes the most when they die wins. Yeah, if I've heard that if even if you're paying them $5 a month, they can't harass you. So I would say, get the help you need because it could cost you your life. Thank you, Donald. Yes, thumbs up, everyone. It helps the algorithm. I don't know how, but thumbs up. Miss Net said, my friend's son is a traveling MD. How cool is that? That is very, very cool, Miss Net. Hey, Jojo. Yes, thanks for the reminder, Donald. Don says most nurses are contracted nowadays. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that the doctors were contracted. They're not employees of the hospital. At least in the emergency room, or at least in that emergency room, is what the person who had me signing all these things was telling me. Graham says, I'm thinking about how I was going to explain all the new scars I'm going to have. Then I thought I could blame the bride. Oh my goodness. I explained my idea to her and she suggested it's probably no, that would not be a good thing, Graham. Feminine Post says, oh wow, good for you that you spoke up, dog lover. I know, I know. Once I said my poor little puppy, thank you, Mowgli, was here all alone in a crate, it seemed like all of a sudden the light went on and boom, things started happening fast. So I'm happy. Uh um Liddell says, yes, Carol, diabetes adds to likelihood of many skin disruptions. Wow, I did not. I knew that if you can get, a cut, that it can cause a big problem if you're diabetic, but this wasn't even a cut because there was no leakage on this. It was just a cyst that was growing under the skin, but apparently it looks like my numbers, my AC or whatever they call it, one or AC or whatever, are high. So I'm pre-diabetic. So I guess that is that plus my tendency to keloid. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sepsis is nothing. Yeah, Sylvie, I'm glad I promptly got care too, you know. Hey, OJ for hire says Kyle Bush, folks. Okay. Is that your name, Kyle Bush? Okay, Kyle. Crafty Doodle says prayers for quick healing and clear biopsy lab report. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm yeah, Liddell, sepsis is life threatening, and it's life threatening within a few hours. I I didn't know that. A very dear friend of mine, her son was in an accident. Something fell from a lift or something onto him at work, and he had to go in for surgery. It was serious, but he was in the hospital recovering from that, and he got sepsis in the hospital and died. So yeah, because he's already in there, his body's weak, his immune system's weak, picked up sepsis and died in the hospital. Wow, wow. Sylvie says once it gets through your circulation, you are done. Yeah, that's what he wanted to check that's why he did the CBC, the complete blood work, to check. He said my white blood cell count was good, everything else was good, and he was checking to see my white blood count and if the infection had gone into my bloodstream, because apparently that's when it's really serious. Yeah, you're right, Sylvie, so right. Oh my goodness, Nora. Wow. So you really know. I'm so sorry. You really know about the risk of that. Wow. Oh my goodness. So the sepsis was the last straw. Yeah, people don't realize how serious it is and how many seemingly minor things can result in sepsis. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, I just wanted to share with you all everything I learned because I didn't know any of this. And to let you know that these things, don't let something that looks like an infection, don't let it go unchecked. Get it checked, especially if you're at risk for or have diabetes or at risk for that. Yes, that is so sad to hear, Nora. Oh my goodness. Well, 22 years ago, still a loss, your life partner still is a loss you feel. How many years later you still feel? Oh, Bactrim is heavy duty? Yeah, that's what he said. He's got me taking Bactrim. Hey, follow the chariot rather. Yeah, he's got Bactrim because he said he wants to make sure that there is no sepsis set in. I guess I better do some research on Bactrim, huh? Mimi Malone says, Miss Net, it was so scary. I washed my bras in it and it caused a moving infection. Wow. Went to prompt care, hung a bag, and got antibiotics. How did you know that it was the woolite? How did you connect the dots there, Mimi? I'm just curious. Hey, Catherine, just seeing this. Why did you go to the ER? Catherine, I'm not going to go through all of it, but I had a cyst and it turned into a big thing. But you can go back and listen to the beginning, and I go through the whole 9 yards. But contaminated woolite. Oh, really? What was it contaminated with? Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. Uh, yes, thanks, Nora. Yes, thumbs up, guys, thumbs up. Oh my goodness. John's Deb says, I just got over MERS. Oh, you did? It went through open wounds and affected my knee replacement. Oh, I was admitted to hospital and had a partial knee replacement. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so boy, I hope you're okay now, Deb. Whew. Yeah, Sylvie says cellulitis is a skin disease. Oh. Well, it said here, it said maybe I put in cellulitis instead of cellulitis. Let me look and see. Because it said it's very common and it was acting like it's not a big deal when I looked it up here. Let me look it up again. Cellu Cellulite, but let me look up cellulitis. I looked up cellulite, apparently cellulitis. Oh, okay. Cellulitis is a common bacterial infection of the skin and underlying tissue. It occurs when bacteria opens a break in the skin, resulting in a swollen, painful red area that is warm to the touch. It is typically treated. Wow. The infection can appear anywhere but on the body, it says, but is most common on the lower legs, arms, and face. Look out for the following, it says: red, inflamed skin that tends to spread or expand, pain and tenderness in the affected areas, and that's what I was having, swelling or warm to the touch. And the nurse had told me, she said it's kind of getting warm. When I touch it, it's warm. Blisters are red streaks spreading from the site. So I guess that shows that the infection is spreading. Fevers, chills, and swollen lymph nodes indicating the infection is spreading. Well, I didn't. That's one of the things they asked me. Are you having fever or chills? And I didn't have any of those or swollen lymph nodes. So thank goodness. It's usually caused by a strep bacteria, and they can enter listen to this, the body through cuts, scrapes, or surgical wounds. That's why he's concerned about this in my back. But it can also enter the body through insect or animal bites. Dry, cracked skin or peeling skin between your toes, like athlete's foot, or skin ulcers caused by diabetes or poor circulation. So if you have a insect bite that starts to get red and is hurting and it looks like it's warm to the touch, you better get that checked out. Or even athlete's foot. If you go somewhere near a pool, I don't go into pool areas without try to wear, flip-flops or something. But yeah, or in the gym taking a shower without flip-flops. But yeah, so yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes, Debbie, so glad you're doing better now. Maria said it's called cellulitis. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and it can cause sepsis, Maria. Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah, I had put in cellulite, not cellulitis, and that's why it came back as not as a common thing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Yeah, slow carb, yeah. So, yeah, so it can be it's interesting what little seemingly insignificant things, if you don't watch it, can turn into something huge. That's kind of like life in general, you know? If you don't watch your debt, it can explode. If you don't take care of your car right away, it can I mean, anything small can turn into something big if you don't get it right at the beginning. Such a good thing to remember too, you know? Miss Net says, "If anyone needs cellulite, I have extra to spare." Me too, Miss Net. Me too, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. Uh, Slow carb, just an infection. Yeah, not oh goodness. Yeah, Nora says, "I have plenty to donate too." Don't we? Don't many of us? I'm catching up. I'm catching up. I'm catching up, Nora. Yeah, the woolite recall. Well, I won't be buying any woolite. Thank you, CW Style. And Liddell. Keep Liddell in your prayers too. Keep Liddell. Uh yep. She said, Catherine, that the woolite was contaminated with something, and it caused her, when she washed her clothes in it, her bra, it caused her to have a skin infection, which got very, very serious. Thank you, Soulside Jules. Thank you very much. Yes, Susie, spider bites. So any kind of bite, spider bites, anything. Um, Thank you, CW Style. I appreciate it. Yes. Oh, Feminine Post. It has been a couple of months, but you know what? I'm so glad that I have taken this break because I have the resilience and the strength to deal with everything going on, you know? If I hadn't, I don't know. Yes, Patty, basal cell carcinomas. Yeah, that's a serious thing. Hey, mouse boots. Not the same words. Yes, yes. I'm looking that up. I found that out. Yeah, it is good I went in. And I encourage any of you who have even a spider bite that doesn't heal right away and starts to spread or especially if it gets warm to the touch, apparently. Any open cut, I would say put Neosporin, clean it off with maybe peroxide, or even what's that red stuff? I bought some during COVID. I bought some that red stuff to it's the stuff that they use in surgery, but I bought a big old bottle of it. I was stocking up on everything during COVID, and clean any wound off with that and put Neosporin on it. That's what I keep. I always keep Neosporin uh, on hand. Thank you, feminine poet. Yes, Marta, that's what. Uh, oh, yours was spreading in streaks. Oh, that's really dangerous, Mimi. Really, mine hadn't gotten to that point. Thank goodness. Graham says, on a lighter note, we leave for a 4-day cruise from Sydney to Portland Island. Ooh, that sounds fun. You've never been on one before? Oh, hopefully it'll be the start of a new chapter. Hopefully so. That sounds like a lot of fun, Graham. I hope you and the bride have an amazing time. 4 days. That's that's a good enough time to get acclimated, but not so much time that you get overwhelmed. Catherine says that can't report it on your credit anymore either unless a certain someone reverse that. Oh, okay, so medical. Yeah, they say that medical bills are, I think, the most common cause for bankruptcy filings for seniors, for people over 65, I think. Yeah, medical bills. Is that sad or what? Vaughn says, I had a cyst in exact same spot 2 years ago. I just slathered the black salve. Uh, I've really long word road, but it did the trick. Okay. In Canthamo. Okay. The black salve. I've never heard of that. Let me take a picture of that. So if I need some, but next time I get a cyst, I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to have them take it out immediately. I'm not going to wait to see how it develops now that I've had this experience. Let's see. Okay, I have that. picture. Thanks, Vaughn, for that info. Sylvie says, I know. Yeah, Don, it does sound like he's going to have a lot of fun, doesn't it? Sylvie says, I know after a visit to the emergency room, I got all kinds of bills from companies I never heard of, nurses, doctors, technicians, etc. Well, hopefully, you know, the hospital has my information on my supplemental that they will give it to the doctors who will then in turn send it on to everyone else, so that so I don't have to be bothered with it. But I think I have a $250 deductible, which I think I've already met this year. So, um, Vaughn says 3 generations. Are you aware of the Lindy situation? I have got to call Lindy today. I don't know all the details because I haven't talked to Lindy in a few days, but I have people contacting me. I got some emails today talking about something else is going on with Lindy. So I've got to call her. In fact, when I get off this live on the way to the pharmacy, I'm going to call her and find out what else is going on. Lindy is just being hit from one side to another. You know, oh, can we just say a prayer for Lindy? Just, Lord, just come over and put a hedge of protection around her from these are spiritual warfare going on here, just truly spiritual warfare. Protect her, encourage her, lift her up, be this wind beneath her sails, and just keep her safe and protected under your hedge of protection. So just could everyone just say a prayer for Lindy and just hold her up in prayer that this spiritual warfare that's being waged against her will not be successful. Um, Jess is doing good. Thanks for asking. She's happy on her job. She's happy. She got paid yesterday, so she's a happy camper, you know. Susie says Dr. Pimple Popper explains a lot. Used to watch it with my mom. She loved that show. I never heard of that. Yeah, it's a lot going on with Lindy, Iris. Nora says that black salve has tar or something in it. It draws out the liquid or in the lump, I believe. Oh, I never heard. Cuddles, get out of there. I never heard of that. Wow. I'll have to remember that for the next time. Well, hopefully there won't be a next time. Hopefully, since it only happens hopefully there won't be a next time. Let me just say that. Kyle Bush died of sepsis. Oh, that's what you're saying. Kyle, who is Kyle Bush? Is that one of the President Bush's family's member? Huh. Died of sepsis. Oh my goodness. Liddell says in the ER, all staff are contracted and some on the inpatient area, but there are many on the floors who still work for the hospital. I didn't know that. Liddell. I was surprised to hear that. I really did not know that. Oh, okay, Graham. Basal cell carcinomas. Okay. Yeah, you need to get those removed. Absolutely. I have a spot on my face here right there that I'm kind of worried about. So when I go in, I'm going to have the dermatologist check it out and see. Oh my gosh. Mimi says, I lost my niece to sepsis from a split stomach ulcer. Wow. Vaughn says, Miss Net, just ask the pharmacist, just say salve that starts I can. They should know it right away. Okay, I'm going to get some of that and keep it on hand, Vaughn. I am actually. Nora, it stinks, but it works. Hey, I don't care. I don't care. That's okay as long as it works. I will ask the pharmacist. In fact, when I go over to Costco, I'll ask them. You're welcome, CW Style. I just want to share all the information so people can be aware that things that seemingly look like not a big deal, like a spider bite or this or that, an insect bite, can turn deadly, you know. Liddell says the staff who work for the hospital still do for the retirement and benefits. Yes, yes. Mimi says due diligence officer. Hey, Due diligence for sure. John's Deb says, I am now okay, but I'm still on antibiotic. Okay, since February. Wow, that's a long time. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you're doing better. Know what's happening. It says here, it's something on my computer. It says something went wrong. No fooling. So I don't know what happened. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah. So hopefully you can. Let's see. Okay. It looks like I'm back. Let me turn my phone off. Hold on. Let me turn this off. All right, I'm going to get off on my phone. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up. I don't know what it said on there. It said, try again. Something went wrong. Who knows? Who knows what's going wrong here? All right. All right. Yay. All right, folks. I'm going to I'm going to end it because it looks like something's wrong with the connection. I don't know what it is. What is that on I? Oh, that's just shadow. So, I'm going to end the live here, folks. Anyone who has anyone who has, guys, cut it out. Cuddles, stop. You know better. You know, I was hoping that Cuddles would be a good influence on Mowgli. It's the other way around. Mowgli is a bad influence on Cuddles. But anyhow, have a great week, you guys. If anyone's still on, wants me to shout you out, put a quick C for content creator, or number one if it's your first time in the house and I want to call you. I just want to say hello real quick and shout you out. Yeah, sorry guys. Something happened with the interconnect connection on my computer, and it, like I said, it said something went wrong. Didn't say what, but I was able to get on the phone for a minute. But I want to say goodbye and have a great, great, great week. Yes, and healing prayers for you too, John's Deb, that everything is resolved and you on the road to total recovery. Thank you, Maria. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. And I will see you next week. Love each and every one of you. And I just may get a video up one of these days. I'll let you know. All right. Love you guys. Bye. See you next week.